Morning. Can't sleep again. Bad. So there must be a prophecy in well, yeah, that's Jesus, right? Can't touch anything to make it about to make myself part of the plan here. Um, then I'm intruding. I'm calling myself more than what can be. I don't know who the hell you are, but and what God intended for you, but I have pretty great plans. Um, uh, Visions, dreams, if you want to say that, right? It's like, uh, boy, we are just in a pretty bad state here. Oh, all right. Yeah, I mean, it's like this. I'm in the worst position ever that it could possibly. This is like I'm in a bad spot. You ever heard of MAID, which is like, I guess they can kill you off, like respectfully or something. Shoot you up with some junk and let you drift away in peace instead of suffering. I don't know. This just ain't worth it. It's like I have the secret that the whole entire world has been waiting for, and it's not. It's sad. It's very sad because um, it fulfills all the prophecies. It's kind of like a big deflator, right? This guy shows up and God's going to pick him to do all his work. It's like, huh, yeah. Anyway, um, he's got to pick somebody. He picked you. If you want to do it, then you do it. I'll show you how. I'll give you all the information, even. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. I just want to see this thing get rolling. And if it don't get rolling, I don't know what to do. I can't sit here night after night suffering. It's better to just. I have to go to one of these assisted death places and give them all my information, and they'll shoot me up, and I can be rid of this mess. You don't want my help? Why should I give it to you? I can't. You can't force people to take things, right? It's like this just sucks. It's like, who in the hell do you tell? Uh, I've tried to stir up a little bit to get attention, but it's like then people just think you're some kind of a dipshit, and then they treat you like a jerk because you seem to have no self control over the matter. But I have plenty of self control. But when the freaking house is burning down, you don't sit on your ass, waiting for the toast to come up out of the toaster. Oh, we'll leave in a minute. My toast is almost ready. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you how toasty you're going to get. I can see it in everybody's faces when I look online. Everything. It's written all over their faces. That hopelessness. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I need to go so Jesus can come. Maybe I am the bad guy. The hell if I know. I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to be the shit. I don't care. I'm so sick of this place and people fighting over a fucking book. Okay. Men wrote that thing, which is kind of scary because it's perfect. It's as perfect as God could design it. There's no big contradictions in there. Our contradiction is the fact when you look in a mirror and you don't see God staring back at you. How in the hell do you live? Where did your breath of life come from? It's like no wonder we can't get and all the allegories and stories, not in the Bible, all around us, right? Hi, you're persistent. Must be a woman. All I can figure. The guy would be like, "Damn, this shit ain't worth it." Women are evil. They'll shred. They'll do the craziest things to make sure whatever they got planned happens. I mean, crazy. I mean, load your kids into a minivan and drive into a lake. Uh, so yeah, I don't know how to approach this. It's like I've got the worst predicament ever. It's like it's like you guys are like kids locked in a car or some shit. And I'm trying to show you how to open the damn lock. Over here. See where it says not to kill each other? See where it says to live at peace with all men? Push that. Push that. Hey, go away. Are you ready? I'll show you the kind of guy I am. I love that smell. You know why? Because my shit doesn't stink. I'm probably the only person who can blow a fart for 30 freaking seconds and you don't smell anything. Nothing. People laugh. And it's like, I don't know. My shit doesn't stink. My shit stinks. But I don't produce foul gas out the back end, I'm so frustrated. What time is it? Probably like 2 in the morning or something. 4 in the morning, maybe. I'm going to say a little prayer. Lord, Father, God, this ain't my fault. I'm going to wait to the end till you kill me off. But if nothing moves, it ain't my fault. I'm here. I'm waiting. I want to do something. I want to help. I want to open up some eyes and show these people why they shouldn't be offing each other like a bunch of fools. And they're waiting for you to pop out of the sky. Yeah. Is there any way you can help me? Can you kill me off? Just, Moses asked. I get it. 70 liters? I can't find 70 cents in this place. But you know what? I'm just going to let it go because I waste my time. You know everything. So why do I even bother to bitch and scream? I'm just blowing myself out and proving that I don't trust you, maybe, or that I have no faith, or I'm lacking, or something, right? Being impatient. Maybe he's the Antichrist. Look, he's all anxious. Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry, but I can't help it. You've given me a set of eyeballs. You've softened my heart to where it's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how water moves around pumping water, but I don't have a heart. I got a liquid hole in my chest that junk pours out of that nobody wants. Can you get me out of here? Please. I'm not going to try and kill myself again. I did it twice. It didn't work. Then I died in the hospital and I woke up anyway. And it was neat to see everybody screaming about that or that lady, but I felt bad for her. She could have had a freaking heart attack and died. Then how that would have been good. That would have been a good news story. Man dies of heart attack. Resuscitation crew gives up. Man suddenly revives. Woman has heart attack and man saves her life. Man dies saving her life. Like, what was that extra 50 seconds for? All right. Let's start drinking. Oh, that's right. All right. He's trying to be honest about things here, okay? Here, we go like this. Watch. Maybe we can camp out with Nikolai for a little while. He is good friend of mine, Nikolai. I don't know Nikolai very well. I've never met him before, but I'm a little bit concerned because on this particular brand, I can see that the label is pressed askew. It's not even on the bottle straight. So then again, maybe the sampling crew are the people who is loading the messengers for Nikolai. It could be. Are you having fun yet, my friend? How does it feel to exist in a time where we will see the world end? There are too many things coming to get us. Big rocks flying around. It's kind of scary, isn't it? It's wonderful. You should try it, my friend. I have a message for you. You ready? All right. Now, in all fairness, I got a little. Okay. It's a strange thing, ain't it? It's like just doesn't really have any flavor. It's like a rubbing alcohol. Let's take a little sample. Yeah, we're not going to drink that. Ugh. Oh my God, that's awful. Here, this stuff. That. Oh my God, it's terrible. It has an after bite that's like, maybe there's something in the glass. Oh my God, that's terrible. How could they sell this? You'd have to be really desperate. You know what? I'm not that desperate. Is it leaking? I better check. Damn it. All right. Uh, uh, oh, man. I like how they put these cute chicks on the bottles. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't know if they're actually worth it anymore. I mean, there must be decent ones out there, right? How come women can't follow through? When they have something on their mind that they want done, they'll do anything, make it happen. Cooperation, the utmost gut teamwork. I don't know, man. But you don't want like some military chick, right? I want some lady that's going to wander around the house, doing lady stuff, gentle things, you know, things that I can't do because I'm not a man, or wait, what did I say? I can't do anything. If I was speaking for her, then I'm not a man, so I can't do anything. If I'm a non, I am so freaking tired. All right, you got your second session. Keep going. I don't know. I just hope it's worth it for you to waste your time. I'm not wasting my time's not being wasted. I'm being judged right now. You know that whole "he who loves perseveres to the end" thing. That's what I'm being tested on. I'm not going to fail on that. I understand that what's happened here is it's a grave error, mistake in judgment in the most terrible way, and not not judgment. God judging you, us judging each other. Freaking criminals, man. Criminals, we are. All right, what's going on here? Okay, you're still going. Run my fingers down the edge of a knife. Ooh, I want to spit in the face of life. That's Jerry's lyrics. He was miserable. I see why everybody's miserable, and I'm miserable, but I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong, and you won't be able to see it unless you have to back off of it and just make yourself a part of a bigger plan where you accept your peace. I'm good with it. See, it's like that's what happens with no cooperation. One person pushes, another person pushes back, this person pushes, another push, and then nothing happens. And then suddenly you go, holy crap, you'd believe we've been doing this for like how many years now? Wow. What the hell are we? What are we, nuts? Yeah. Yes, we are. We're off to the horse races and we forgot to bring the horse. Oh, I figured out, oh my God. When I listen to people talk about these sermons, see, this is what I need is some collaboration. Oh my God. I listened to some guy and he he said Adam didn't sin, is what he said. Well, if Adam didn't sin, then I don't know what in the hell, what is sin then, right? Well, sin's only if you kill somebody. But disobeying God's not a sin. But I'm listening to this guy, and it's hard because he's talking about he's way off base, right? I'm trying to add to what's already there. The brick, the foundation stone is there, and I'm just trying to lay the next layer on the thing. This guy's talking about, Adam didn't sin. It was just crazy, and I'm like, I'm listening to him, and I'm like, okay. This is the way I operate. I'm when something bad is going on, I don't automatically just flip it off. I got to ask God if that's okay. Should I turn this off? This is really annoying to me. You know what he does? No, I might be hiding something useful in there. It's the job of kings to find these treasures, and it's like, okay, I found enough already. I guess I'll keep on digging. And there you go. All right. So let's see. So Lord, I'm going to ask, is it okay for me to end my own life, respectfully without harming anybody else? Just to, walk away from this mess. Right? I won't even look. Let's go. I don't know. We'll just come out right there. Oh my God. It opened up to the book of Jonah. There's your sign. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Amittai? Amittai? Am I tie? Am I to? Am I? Am it AI? Oh boy. Wonderful. Am it AI? Admit AI? I don't know. Go to the great city of Nineveh, which means house of fish, and preach against it because its wickedness has come up before me. Interesting. So what happens with the house of Nineveh? See, we just see that sin is working in one direction, right? They done something bad. God's going to go and get them. We got a problem. The wicked are reserved for the day of judgment. Now, if these people are being wicked, what was going on? There was some kind of judgment going there. Who was actually being judged? Was it Nineveh or was it Jonah? I think both, right? And that's how it works. God's working like with a set of bookends, and there holds the whole thing together. Sorry, Obi-Wan Kenobi stole that one, but he's absolutely right. It's in you, it's outside of you, it binds the entire universe together. That's what I call God, because he exists. So even if you didn't know what he was, had no idea, The numbers, the data is there. Mr. Dan McClellan. I don't know who wrote this book, or I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah, how did I say that? Whew. It's like this book has it's impossible. This book is impossibly written when you can understand it. And I'm not talking about these theologians that stick their head in it for 30 years and then, you know, I'm sorry, you have to throw all your presuppositions out the window. You step up to that table with some kind of wrong knife, he'll take out his sword and hack you to bits and then throw you on the table as a sacrifice, even. That's what was going to happen to Nineveh. That's how they were going to be overturned. If they wouldn't have repented and whatever, how would God have inflicted judgment on them? He would have just sent somebody else to kill them off, like he does with everybody. Everybody that's running around hurting each other, they're being sent by the Lord. Can you imagine that? Why? Because that's what we're asking for. He gives you the desires of your heart. He's not evil for giving you what you want. He's giving you exactly what you're asking for because he designed you and he knows that eventually, that's what Jesus did. He shortened the time. He didn't want to see the whole thing grind down and, you know, save as many people as he could. He didn't want people to get caught in the, you know, you think there were maybe some people running around in Jerusalem that were innocent? Okay. Do you think anybody on this planet is quote unquote righteous where God can look at it and say, if there's 150 in there, I'll save it? I don't know. I think that would be a stretch at this point. I'm not feeling it. I don't know what's with the mindset of people's thoughts in this place, but I don't feel like I'm from here. I just don't get it. I don't understand how people could be so short-sighted, fill their pockets, go home and eat a meal when you got people on the other side of the planet that haven't eaten in how long? Ooh, man. Ooh. Woe is thee. What's going on here? Okay. That's funny. I got different clocks, and everything has a clock on it. You know, your microwave, everything. I just looked at the thermostat, and it's 316. 316 and 59 degrees. Oh, man. If you can, I'm gonna just broadcast this. If you can get a theologian that will contact me on the phone and I can meet with this person and give him all of this information that I have compiled, I will give you anything out of my home that you want, except for myself. Anything. There's guitars, music equipment, computers. I won't give you because people just you'd want that so you could sift through it and see where you know, telescopes. There's a piece of a car in there, nice motorcycle, lots of tools. Oh, lots of tools, man. I'm a techie guy. Video equipment, camera equipment, security equipment, equipment for working on electronics, like heavy duty probes and yeah, that kind of stuff. We play deep. I've messed with a lot of stuff in my life. I'm like I don't know. By all intents and purposes, I deserve to die like the guy did in Blade Runner, you know, where he's like, I have seen ships on fire off the coasts of Orion, and you know, he's like describing this scene in outer space, and you know, you got these Hubble images with epic battles going on, right? and then he just says, time to die, and then he just fades away, and it's like, I get it. Whatever the next place is, it's fine. I've had enough of this one. This one sucks. The people here suck. The food sucks. Everything sucks about this place. And why? Because the people won't work. God, there's nothing wrong with God. Everything's here that we need to make this a nice place. We don't do it. If we don't do it, then, you know. Okay. Am I supposed to try to destroy everybody else then, since I'm going Jonah route? All right. Psalm 140. Hear, O Lord, my cry for mercy. O sovereign Lord, my strong deliverer, who shields my head in the day of battle. What about the rest of you? What about the rest of you in the day of battle? You want to know what's the only thing he's going to protect is your head. That's the head of gold. You start degrading, degrading. The metals are getting less and less. All right, now we're into the silver. Left and right, hands and arms, doing some work to prove yourselves. Then after that, well, then what do you get? Then you get bronze. That's where the God is, your belly. Now you're going to prove if you can't even work and you're asleep and you're dead, you're still going to prove who your God is by what you eat or haven't eaten. Yeah, he's not going to protect anything but your head in the day of battle. And can I tell you something? We've been fighting for thousands of years for me to get here and you to be here to see me. You ready? Or are you just, we can't do it. We got to wait for Jesus. That's wonderful. I don't think he wants us to wait when he says anytime will do. Okay? He comes back when we actually want him to come back. You know that part? You won't see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. That's not only one person. I hope there's a lot of people. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. But the point is not that you'll see somebody coming. You'll understand that I am blessed when I come in the name of the Lord, which means, guess what? I'm of the house of David, blessed. This book has jacked you guys so hard, you don't even get a clue. Do not grant the wicked their desires, O Lord. Do not let their plans succeed, or they will become proud. Wow. You ready? Now I opened this for me, you understand, right? And who are the heads? The heads are for the battle, right? That's what I'm trying to do, is get my head into the battle, and all these other bigger, proud heads won't let the ugly guy in. All right? Let the heads of those who surround me be covered with the trouble their lips have caused. Prophecy 52:15 in Isaiah, it's fulfilled. The mouths of kings have been shut. The problems their lips have caused, it has nothing to do with maybe what you've said. It could be what you haven't said. Or you're just sitting here like this. Wonderful. Let burning coals fall on them. May they be thrown into the fire. And that's nothing. That's just asking that you come to life, right? Hey, I feel some warmth. Maybe there's something here, right? Oh, don't get too close. Oh, there's some over there. Better go down this path. Into the miry pits, never to rise. Let slanderers not be established in the land. May disaster hunt down men of violence. I know that the Lord secures justice for the poor and upholds the cause of the needy. Surely, there's that word. Surely and really, they're not the same thing. In the day you eat of it, you will surely die. Did Adam die? No. What did the snake say? Did God really say? Real and sure, not the sure means it's probably going to happen. It's most assuredly going to happen eventually. Really means real. It is done. It's happened. And if that was the case, if Eve, you know how Satan knew that? Who do you think brings death? How do you think you die? Who do you think comes for you when it's time to die? And he goes, touch. And then you're gone. And then whatever that next thing is. Did God really say? No. That was Lord God that said that. God said we could eat from anything. Do you realize that? God said, here's the garden, here's the trees, have at it. When we were created. You look at Isaiah 45:7, what was created? Darkness and evil. Then you hit the next creation story, or the making and forming story, if you want to call it, really. Yeah. You guys better hurry up. You got, let's see, what is it? December, January, February, March. 120 days. What's 120 days from now? 420 maybe? That'd be funny. Today's the 3rd or the 4th? I don't even know. One day strong to the next, no sleep. Do you know who I am? I bet you don't know who else I am. Naturally, some things are scent free. Better than this. Well, they do their jobs, and I do this. I know what it's for. I ain't gonna be no whore. I cannot bring to life my wants. I'm an idiot or a savant. And it's like this guy's throwing lyrics out there just because they match. And it's like, I can't, how does he say it? I can't bring to life my wants. You can't bring to life your wants. You can bring to life his wants. It's the same thing of no man knows the day. It doesn't mean that you're not going to do the work. It means that the work you're doing is fully coming from God. He's knowing you. You're producing his fruit. Welcome to the kingdom. Keep waiting. I wonder how many times I've come to here. Weird. I'm not kidding. I have maybe I'm coming preemptively to tell you to keep an eye open because I'm coming again soon. And when I say I'm not talking about me, ugly face, big eyebrows, stinky. No. No. I'm talking about his spirit. Anybody can have this thing. The thing is once you got it, you can't get rid of it. You can't. How do you, when you feel bound to God and really feel that fear, how in the hell do you just eventually go, I don't fear you now? I guess if your heart gets hardened and you figure, well, here's the problem. I can't see him. He doesn't send me any emails, kind of thing. There's no open road of communication to make you feel comfortable. Like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. The only thing I got is this as a guide and a bunch of fools out there. It's a pity. Who is that? DS. Yeah, things are bad, man. You can't. You can't. You go like this. You open your mouth when you drink and you pour stuff in. You lift a glass to your face. This thing just sucks up like a sponge, and then it's running all over you. It's a pain in the ass. I don't have this because I want it. I made a vow. I took a Nazarite vow not to cut my hair like Samson. I've taken every vow that could possibly be honoring to God, except I don't know. I guess I could take a vow of silence, but then who's going to tell everybody everything? This sucks. I've totally committed myself to God in every way I can think. I've forsaken everything. Nothing around me matters. And it's not like, trust me, it's not like it's hard. I don't feel like, oh no, now I got to give away my motorcycle because somebody called my bluff, if you think it is. And it wouldn't even be sold. It's give it away. It's just, anything in this house of great value, I'll let you claim something in my house. You get a theologian under my ass and on my phone so I can tell him what I have found, and he can give it to all his friends with all their letters and names, their special titles. We were warned about this in Isaiah. Branding. You belong to him. You belong to her. We all belong to God. All of us. There's no everybody. I don't care who you are, what you have done, how foul you think you are. Hitler, if you escaped and you really didn't die and you're still out there, yes, you're even saved, my friend. You couldn't have done what you did unless God empowered you to do it. That's exactly what Jesus would say to you. You couldn't do what you're doing unless God gave you the authority and power to do it. Well, then how does that work? When you got those questions on the table and you want some answers, you come and ask me and I'll give them to you. And I'm not talking to you guys. This is for all these people who are going to find this later after I'm dead. And then you're going to go, why didn't we talk to this asshole? Some people can take their IQ of almost 200 and use it for something good. And that's why you don't see me with a giant company and 500 cars. How many can you drive at once? Pick one. It's like, I look at things because I can create in my mind thought experiments. You know who Einstein was? Let me tell you something. Don't waste any paper. Just slow down for a minute. And, do you have to walk through the world and perform a science project every time you open a door? What's the density of the door? Will the metal corrode when I touch it? Oh no, I better check the pH level of my hand. There might be salt. Yeah, that's how my mind works. I walk down the street and I don't see buildings. I see sticks with wires and underneath there's a sewer system pumping fluid and who knows what's living in there. This is such a simple gig. It is so simple what is asked of us, to love each other. That's it. And we don't do it. at each other's throats and destroying each other over and over and over. I should take a vow of not being fat. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not fat, asshole. Come over here and you'll see how incapable I am, how fat I am. You want to know what I ate yesterday, bitch? Did I just call you that? You want to know what I ate? A bowl of soup the whole fucking day. I have no money. I got nothing. You want what's left? Come and get it. I want to give this message to a theologian or somebody that actually cares about you people so you can stop showing up and doing like you. Get in my face and say something insulting. You are the problem of the world, and you do it like a pussy on the other side of an internet connection. Come in my face and try that. You won't, will you? This wireless shit in these connections, it's like a freaking demon is what it is. It's like a spirit because you can't see it, but it's still having its effect, isn't it? And these little demons come in and they mess with your shit, try and break stuff. That's why I gave up my IT job. I got sick and tired of fixing shit. I could do it. I could do it. And it's like, I'm sick and tired of coming to the fucking construction site and seeing it and paint jobs and shit all ripped up. Why do people do that? Because they're not happy. They want something and they want attention. But you're going at the wrong person. I'm trying to help you and you're over here busting my shit. Are you stupid? I know you don't believe in God, but there is a battle that's going on the other side of the world. I don't care what you believe. And it's caused by this, the misunderstanding of this book. Bunch of fucking idiots. God damn it. What is it going to fucking take? You're going to destroy each other. I know it. I just feel it in my heart. I hate to go Moses on you and tell you all that shit. But you know what? That's why Moses said that. And that's why my bloodline runs to Egypt. And his little tallywhacker probably tapped into something. And somehow I wound up with that name. Because whatever that was that caused that man to be as wild and crazy and love God, get right in his face and talk to him in that kind of a manner. I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid of him if I screw up, and you should be. How do you stand boldly before God if you've screwed up? You can't. You can't. No, not if you actually believe. If you stand fearless before that power, forget it. All the hairs on your head are numbered? That sounds almost unbelievable, right? We're probably going to find out things like the grass is screaming while you're mowing it, okay? Someday. And we're starting to see that. We can see that plants actually kind of can communicate. Plants, a freaking plant has enough courtesy to not take up more water than it needs because the one that's next to it a couple trees over is going, oh, I'm next to the river. It's low, and I usually get my water from there. Help. No, we're like, go buy your own oil, bitch. I'm waiting for the man. I got my water. You go get your own. Wow. And these are plants. And it's kind of funny how I just used that as an example and it happened to use water, huh? Whatever. Don't lose your bearings, brother. My bearings are spent. They're burnt out. The rods have knocked. I punched 3 pistons out of a 4-cylinder through the damn hood. Oil's leaking out the bottom. Blowing white smoke out the back. I'm looking like Halley's Comet. Standing there. Nobody can breathe from the stink I'm raising. And it's like, I'm invisible. I'm not here. I am not. This is like the Sixth Sense, I see dead people. I see dead people. So much symbolism. So much symbolism. Do you realize I've discovered this last night? I actually have two of the rarest pennies in the world. These are the rarest pennies in the world because they only made so many of them. And these are actually proofs. So they're like, the nice, perfect, beautiful, shiny kind. And these were minted 4 years after I was born. Two copper coins. Man, that's just amazing, the detail and how they do this thing, It just blows me away. Like to take metal and crush it and only allow the parts that you want to experience relief. It's ethereal. uh, hmm. I just can't take it. I'm not going to live on the streets. If it gets to be that bad, I'm just going to go to one of them assisted suicide places and get it over with. I ain't going to put myself through this shit. No. The streets are for Lady Wisdom, not a man. You go out and play in that shit, you'll come home and you'll find your wife ain't even back there waiting for you. That's what that's about. When Solomon is out working at night, he was so smart that he knew how to work at night. And then what happens when he comes home to his wife? Knocks on the door and she won't let him in. He's all sweating from the night. What do you think? He was out like whoring or something like that? The Bible is not all written about that. It's all, if you start pointing fingers and judging people, except to look at the example, hey, don't do this for that. As soon as you start judging people, you screwed it up because God's in control of the whole thing. All of it. It's called sovereignty. Some battle between good and evil, if you really believe that's going on, the only battle between good and evil that's happening is right here with a bunch of people that don't know what evil is for. It has a purpose. That's why the Lord created it. He had to create it so he could have a way to fix it in case his rules didn't work. Then he could break his own rules even. Except that he's the only one who's supposed to do that, right? But there are secret things of Satan, right? Like using good for evil. Those things are not things that you really want people to have awareness of, but some people do, and then they depend on them. Like, well, I can lie if it's for a good reason, right? That's okay to do. It's not okay for you to go out and try to find somewhere to inject a lie for a good reason. That's as it comes, when he says you've come before me, that's where your work is, right in front of you at arm's length. You don't need to go across the damn planet to help everybody. I'm not saying that's not necessary stuff, but all of these things that are spoken of in here are absolutely true. You covered transverse land and sea to go find 3 people that need God, that need Jesus. When you got an entire populace, you know what would happen if you built it from one spot and kept all the corruption out of it? It would expand like a city with borders, and you keep the junk out, but you got to start with a good block. And then you join another one to it that isn't corrupt. And now I got 2, and then 3 and 4. And what happens? It expands. It becomes a city that's surrounded by a wall of fire. Galilee. Okay? The circle of the community. When it's saying these things, in those days, Jesus was coming from Galilee. It's like, It means community, right? Or is it Nazareth? Which one? Nazareth? I think Nazareth means dedication or something. But it's like, even that name, Jesus of Nazareth. Okay, change that name out for what the name means. Jesus of dedication, right? Or whatever that name is. That's how you attained your name. Your name was given to you based off of whatever spirit it was that you possessed. And that's why God renames you in some cases. Like, for instance, with Jacob. Jacob is not a very good name. It means usurper, deceptor, what is it? Deceiver. So it's like he got his name because he lasted the entire night battle. And what was he proving? I will not let go until you bless me, and neither will I. Turn them loose. All four of them. Damn horse has been running since the beginning of time. The Son of Man is one of those horses. Now, the Son of Man is going to ride all of those horses. He appears pure with a crown and a bow, which is a covenant. Then he goes south. Dappled horse gets beat up a little bit, but then he gets the scales and goes north. Now he's able to rule and reign a little bit and actually gives the Lord peace. And then from there, where? Death. And then you got to look at, what does that mean? Every single thing has two perspectives to look at it. In front and behind, for and against. If you're riding on a horse and death and Hades are behind you, or on the rider on the horse's name is Death, and Hades and Sheol followed him, whatever the case is. But it's like, what follows you? Have I died and yet I live and Satan's behind me? Or am I corruptly following one of the best Psalms ever, where it says, I will dwell in the house of the Lord, and all, grace and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. You can corrupt that Psalm because it doesn't mean that grace and mercy is going to, find its way to you because you're in the house of the Lord. That's not guaranteed. You're going to have suffering. But behind you, in your wake, the path that you leave behind, Hansel and Gretel, help people to find the damn cottage. Or they'll see, whoa, look at it. It's kind of weird. They're looking at your backside. You've got hell and crap in front of you unimaginable. And they can't see it because all they see is your backside. The glory of your backside going, nope, I'm the dividing line. Okay? That shall not pass. You're not coming through me. You ever done that? Stood up in front of somebody that was really like, could beat the hell out of you? Just, you were so crazed. Oh man, I got in this guy's, you can look this guy up on the internet. Okay. His name is Crampton. Ross Crampton. Okay. Joliet Junior Academy. He's a football player, linebacker. You should see the things that they posted about this guy in the papers. It's still online. And, they would say things like, well, tonight, once again, the Ross Crampton show, like he stole the whole damn game again. And that's who this guy was. He was a maniac. Well, he was in a rage. And these guys were coming at him, and he was like, whatever. He busted out of the rage and was headed for somebody that was my friend. This guy, it was 6 foot something. Okay. I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'9.5", 5'10". If I, go for it, try to be taller, right? Try to stand taller. And he came blasting at me, and I don't know. I had to do it. He was going for her. He couldn't see that it was, you know what it was? He was fighting two black guys, and there was a black girl there. And he was just, all he could see was color. And I stepped in the middle of it. You know, I just, and he like, and then he like, it was like, you know, it was like I threw the kryptonite on his ass and he backed off. But he was crazy, man. He stole an ambulance. He, you know how I was actually able to eat at any time of the day because of him. And actually, he helped me. Well, did I help him get out? Because I was in lock. They locked me up. You know, who are you preaching? What do you think you're Jesus? There's something wrong with the boy. We better throw him in the hospital and watch him for a little while. And then in the things that you see in there are just like unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. You know, you're just like, whoa. and the treatment is not very kind either. You know, the orderlies and the other people that are in there, they're frustrated. So they just abuse these people. There was one lady they almost killed if they didn't kill her. Her name was Barb, and she was getting out of control. So they literally they strapped her to a table in a rubber room, and I could hear her screaming in there like all night long. You'd still hear her. That's how loud it didn't matter. And when they took her out of there in the morning, they brought her out on a stretcher. She had all kinds of white stuff all over her face where she was like foaming at the mouth. And you know what I overheard one of the nurses say? She was having a diabetic fit. She has diabetes, you idiot. Yeah. And that was the same unit that killed me. I died under the care of one of those doctors there. I was so stressed out. I was wanting her scriptures. It's like I'd be stressed out and she would just read. That was the girl I'm protecting. I'm like, oh no, you don't. If you're going to take her out, you might as well take me out too, because she's the only one who's keeping me like on an even keel here. And when I found out that, you know, I knocked on her door, gonna go have some breakfast, right? And somebody walks by, oh, she got out, she left. And I'm like, what? And it was like I lost my help. My helper was gone. My chest crunched. It almost feels like it's going to do it again. Please. Thank you. Like I fell on my back, and then the lady was taking care of me, and this lady was like trying to give me drugs. I'm telling her I love Jesus. She's in a little electric wheel cart thing, and I'm telling her, I don't know about you, but how I feel is if I could, I would like give you my legs so that you could dance and walk or something, you know? It hurts me to see that you've been challenged like this. I wish I'd love you like that. What is wrong with the way I think? Do you got a problem with that? But she rolls up on me and she got right in my face. I died. I didn't know. I guess I knew I was dying and I died. I was shitting in my pants, grabbing my chest. And this lady gets right in my face and goes, where is your faith now? I was like, ah. The last thing I remembered was like, you know, you're in so much pain, and I was just like pushing on the palms of my hands or like at my sides. I was just like kicking my legs a little bit, just like trying to slide backwards on my back away from this lady. Yeah. Yeah. No, that dude. And then I woke up on a gurney, and I like, there was nobody in there. There was one lady left, and she was moving really slow. Like I don't know. It was weird. She was moving too slow. Like she was sad, or she was working like she didn't want to be doing it. You know what I mean? I could tell that she was just like, you know, it doesn't take 45 seconds to move something. And I mean, it didn't take that long, but just real dogged slow. And I was like, I'm laying on a gurney, and I kind of like cock my head up and I'm looking around. I go, oh man. I'm like, and I hurt everywhere because they must have been, they blew out my belly button from blasting me. Okay. My belly button popped out because my body was convulsing. Yeah. Well, listen, the only advice that I'm going to give you is that it is a rough ride. And every time you get angry and shove out in the wrong direction, you've created more of your trouble, and it might even sit and fester and grow and rot a little bit, and then it'll actually then even come back to you later. So it's like, walk as rightly as you can. Try to be Superman or something, right? And don't let people pick on you or because you're esteemed to be something great. That's terrible. That's the reason why our Messiah hasn't shown up. Because if everybody should be vying for that job. You shouldn't be going, oh, that only belongs to God. Jesus was a man, okay, with God's spirit in it. All right. Elijah was just a man. Lots of plain, ordinary people. He didn't go shooting people out of their mother's wombs with certificates and doctorates and things, right? Here I am, and I'm born, but my hand is still up my mother's womb where I'm trying to pull out a 5-pound pile of paper for my thesis. No. Hey, I'm good for advice, but I'm frustrated because I can see how this is our problem right here. We're fighting against this thing. We're fighting against it. And you're going, how, fight it, throw it in the garbage. And it's like, no, you can't. See, this thing says things like, you will be stuck to the ground because of gravity. Okay, well, what can you do? You can defy it, but you're going to have one hell of a time, right? Why not just walk around or something? It says things, it's written in a way where it's to hide the information that's in there. Like when Jesus says, I come to start a war between a father and a son and a mother and a daughter and all that. He was not a homewrecker. He wasn't talking about that. He was referring to spiritual fathers, and mothers were the wisdom women, Lady Wisdom. Okay. That's just to personify the idea of common sense, right? The harlot, she's another woman. All the women that are mentioned like that, they're just like machines that bear fruit. And guess what? Depends on what kind of quarter you put in the thing. You're going to get out whatever, chink, chink. Wow. Canadian bacon. Oh, it must have been a Canadian quarter. Is Canadian bacon kosher? I don't know. We're struggling with something. It has a set of rules, and there's nothing wrong with the rules. We know that because most of those rules have even still come through time. Don't steal, don't kill. It's like there's nothing wrong with them. Don't mess with your neighbor's stuff. That's his stuff. Right? If you're looking at your neighbor and thinking he's got more than you, then he does. He has a lot more than you because you don't realize that you have everything that you already need. So, I had somebody tell me, I said, one day I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be very rich. And this is like somebody from my family, Cat, you're never again. I said, you know what? I go, let me ask you something. What does rich mean to you? And then, rattling off cars and boats and jets. It's like, no. You don't want to know what rich is to me? A peace of mind. if I can just stop and close my eyes and feel comfortable that I've done absolutely nothing wrong and try to do as much as I can right, and yet, you know, I I have like an abundance of things, like I got enough food where I can share with somebody or whatever, you know. I mean, obviously, there's a point where the rich thing will go out the window if you're totally beat to death. But as far as being rich, rich doesn't only refer to money. You know, you can be rich in spirit. You can be rich in mercy or understanding, right? It's like this. It's just I'm hating this because I don't know who to call. I don't know. You call ministries, the doctors are all to whatever. Have called colleges. You know, ask people that you can get a word in edgewise, right? Like, who do I call? Call the ombudsman or whatever. You call this person, start talking to them, and then they're like, look, I found something in the Bible. It's revelation. It's brand new. It's not new. It's been sitting there. I just want to give this to somebody so they can publicly let people know how we're screwing ourselves, right? Yeah, no. What? And they don't want to hear it. You know, my words aren't big enough or something. And it's like, that is a damn pity. That's a pity. Because I got my finger plugging a little hole right now. And when I'm gone, you're going to have to figure out your own way how to plug that hole. And like I said, this thing has been sitting in front of us for thousands of years, however long the scriptures have existed. The answers are in there. The beast is that book. The beast that comes out of the water, it might as well be the book because that's what you're fighting. And you can't conquer it. Who can conquer the beast? Who made all the beasts? The Lord, right? I have not. Actually, oh man, my eyes are getting really bad. I'm going to be blind here probably in a little while. I can't see that thing. Where's trying to see if I can find a magnifying glass. Shinto. I have no idea what that is, but if it's like a peace breathing meditation thing or something, um, I've never heard of it, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what it sounds like, and I'm saying that because of what you're saying. Have you ever heard of? Right. So I don't know if that's a person, but if it is a person, then yes, I do know a Shinto. But his name wasn't Shinto. It was I don't even know if I know his real name now. He worked at a machine shop with me. He was a Mexican guy, and that's just what they call him, Shinto. Shinto, a good dude. Sure. Okay. Well, that was a person, Shinto. I knew a Shinto, but his name was he had a complicated Mexican name, so it was hard to pronounce kind of thing. So it was like he just, just call me this, gave us a nickname for him or whatever. Oh, so it's not a person. So it is a thing. See, and can you see how I can just hear a couple words and I can see where the thing's headed already? And I do it all the time when I read the scriptures. When I'm reading the prophets, I'll get so far down and I'll make a comment about, well, look at what they're doing. They might as well just throw the whole towel in at that. And then I get to the next verse, and then the next verse says something like, and then all the kings gave up in frustration and went their ways. And it's like, well, I just said that, and it's like, it reads like that. It's a common sense book that's just telling us, you can't get around in the world by being mean to each other and destroying the place. And to be cognizant of the idea that not everybody is built the same. I totally realize that. That's why I don't have time to go one by one training disciples. That's what Jesus did. I mean, if I could, I'd load my house full of people and train some people to know what I know. It's not that hard. The only thing is I will warn you that it's going to destroy you unless you can handle. I mean, how would you feel about it? Being totally, truly, with all your guts and nuts and everything that's you, convinced that we've made a mistake and it's our kingdom is literally sitting in our face for 2,000 years now, thanks to Jesus. And I'll give the credit to him from that point, but it obviously was there even before him. He was sent because we were so screwed up. We can't understand this word. We think we have a wrong perception of what it means to serve our God, right? He just wants us to love each other, not be hateful and whatever. Uh-oh. Are you from Japan? Do not know Japanese yet. From what I know, Shinto means the original religion of Japan or the natural religion. Yeah. All of these religions are all going to be, they're all related. Okay. And people will say, no, there's monotheism, one God. And I'm like, well, then you got a problem because God says, I'm the God of all gods. And so then people start interjecting their own opinions. Well, he doesn't mean that. He means that those aren't real gods and he's the only real God. Well, then why doesn't he say that I am the only God? You don't mention other stuff that doesn't exist to explain yourself, unless apparently you're God. Because he can do that kind of a thing. You know, all the creepy wording of the is not that is and yet, or the is that is not and yet shall come. That's your thoughts and your dreams. Your dreams are the is that is not yet and yet shall come. The things that we dream about, the things that we aspire to do, that's what we do. So meditate, do the good, right? Oh, you're in Texas. Be careful. Don't mess with Texas. I just met one guy down there. He's from his channel is Now I Know. And he's kind of on the same page that I am. He's a fixer. Okay. I fell in love with omnism. You know what's funny? My woman that's in Korea, I had a Korean girlfriend when I was in the Marine Corps, and we had an equipment failure. So I didn't know she was going to have a kid. So I gave her my ID card. But that was her name, Omna. Omna, I think. I don't know how to spell it, but Omna was her name. Yeah. Well, all religions hold truth. It's like, that's the funny thing. Even a lie is a truth, right? If you say I told a lie, well, then you truly, you revealed something that is true, even though what you revealed was a lie. If you listen to the bad guy speech that that Pacino gives, it's crazy because it's perfect. You know, what are you looking at? Me? You know, you just know how to hide. That's what they did in the Garden of Eden. How to lie, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he says, you know, you need people like me because you don't have the balls to be what you could be. So say goodbye to the bad guy. But he says, and you know, during the thing, he goes, y'all a bunch of stinking liars. Me, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. I don't get texts. No text messages. I am being pummeled with data disaster. People are trying to break into shit. I'm plugging holes, and they can only get so far because then you just pop that damn image and go back to square one. I mean, so it's like I don't want to get to that level, but it's like, I'm aggravated. Or you just take your burner phone and throw it out and get another one, get a new phone number and all that. I'm not changing my life for anything. All the beating and the troubles I'm experiencing right now, I believe in a sovereign God. So if that person can actually frustrate me to the level where I just say, screw it and quit, who's it going to, I don't know who the judgment's going to fall on, right? I'm going to stand before God and go, why didn't you protect me then from them people? If you had that job, I'll tell him right now to his face. If you had that job for me to do and you knew it was in my heart that much, why did you hamper me and make my path rocky and rough and terrible and have all these people attacking me? And he's going to say, well, that's because that's what Jesus had to deal with. He told you that it's shit. And you having the mind that you do and enough intelligence and the soft heart and enough beatings all your entire life to understand that, guess what? They don't understand. They read that word K-N-O-W and they think of marbles up in their head, and it has nothing to do with that. Knowing is what comes out of your hands. Okay? If I am known by God, that means that his work is flowing through me. If I'm known, that's when a man knows a woman, she produces fruit. It doesn't work that way, apparently. Apparently, he just speaks. And then the rock is supposed to listen. And then water comes from that rock. Okay? Right now, you have a rock sitting in front of you guys with a name that you don't know. And you're beating this rock. And the water's going to stop. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll take phone calls. But even that is, still, I mean, I'll admit it. I only can probably keep out of enough harm's way as much as I have been so far, because I'm not I'm not grandpa with going, what's this thing? It's a phone, Dad. It's like, what? No, I've been in technology. I've done this stuff. I actually programmed my entire job to do all of it all by itself in the morning. Because when I what was happening is I had to get there early in the morning. I had a financial company that I had to sync up to like someone else in another part of the world. I'm taking advantage of a time zone gap. So I can say 5:00 here. I got an hour in between. And now it's still 5:00 here, but it matches up with the records there. And so everything syncs and the whole thing flows, right? But I got to do some stuff. I got to load up a Davox auto dialer with phone numbers. I got to connect to several systems, IBM mainframes, whatever. That mainframe, the data files that I pull down from them, levels and deep in directories, they may or may not be there. I got to go in and do a diff or a poke and find out, is that file there? Is it changed? What's the date stamp on it? Is it empty? Is it still being built? If it's being built, then the file's there, but it won't have a kilobyte size yet, right? Unless it's refreshing on a fly. And everybody doesn't do that. Why waste system processes showing a number bouncing up as something's going? Just sit still and it'll work, If it doesn't in a little bit, then have something. Hey, it should have happened by now. I have streamlined this system so pure that everything should just be clicking fast. And I can go, okay, I'll set my threshold warning at 5 seconds. 5 seconds later, hey, something must be up. This is taking a little bit of time. All right, maybe I'll look at some stuff. But then maybe it kicked off at 6 seconds, Okay, it's no big deal. But if it starts building and getting worse, all right, I got a problem. Something is breaking somewhere, even without me sitting on it, knowing it. There's a lot of stuff there to deal with, but when something breaks, you just look for indicators and you go and fix it. But I had to go in and find I programmed my entire job, and then I hooked it up on a pager so it would page me and let me know what it was doing. It would page me ones, then a bunch of twos, then threes, fours, fives, sixes. When I saw the sevens, I knew it was done. And the whole reason I did it was because I was flying, and I lived like probably 50 miles away. I'm flying into work. Okay. And it's funny because like 999 is the building number that I used to work in. 999. Tui. In Des Plaines. And I'm, so I got to get into work. And there were a couple times when, you'd hit some traffic or something was going on, or maybe something caused you to. So I'm running late, hurrying into work, and wound up like I got a couple tickets, and it was like, I'm not getting more tickets again. I'm at the point where if I get another ticket, my insurance is going to go up, lose a lot. No. So I didn't ask my boss. I knew what I should do. I knew that I could make it run by itself. I could program it, script it. And when I ran my programs, I didn't take one single program to run my scripts. I didn't care what your program was. I would figure out how to use bits and pieces of it. Like there was a program called SoftDent. Okay. It was like a office management tool, but it had all these things in it. You could set reminders and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I just set the reminder. Now I got a time clock thing to spit out a piece of code. I go in, clipboard, bounce it out, run it, stuff it into the registry, hit a softie. Here it comes. It's like, but I knew that if hi, can I program the system to do my job? And the boss had been like, yeah. And we'll get you a severance package, afterwards. And so I just asked him, I said, this is my department, right? I can make changes or whatever. I can make things better. That's all I wanted to tell him, was give him a positive vision and then him to say, go. And he did. He did. His name was Steve Thorne, the thorn in my side. And and actually the data center was actually in Texas. Okay. The boss of the place, I'll finish telling you the story. So here's what happens. He's like, he said this, he goes, Masani, you do what you want. He goes, you're the most amazing mother, I've ever seen. And he said that more than once. It was like one of his favorite things to say. He's like, yeah, this is your department. Bang it out, man. Because they had to order me a special computer because I needed like the most interrupts on this board that you could have, because I had like 8 modems hanging off of this thing. And I would be bouncing between sessions, going to this place, tap, over here, boom, send it over there. It's transmitting, and I'm bouncing over to another system on my side to watch it come and then grab it and put it where it goes. Anyway, so Steve gives me the okay. I start designing this thing. I will not tell you all the programs I used, okay? But, terminal emulators, terminal programs like, dialers, you needed some kind of a scratch pad to bounce your notes around. I had a data management utility that was wonderful because you could take files. Like when I would hook to this one, an IBM mainframe, and the file would come down in EBCDIC. Okay. And our system wouldn't read it. So I had to bust it apart, strip it, go through it file by file, and extract the information out of the records, and then format it. And then that got stuffed into a Davox auto dialer so it could just hammer people's phones making phone calls. Well, eventually, guess what? I programmed my whole damn job. And it was running so good that I just turned my pager off. I said, somebody's going to complain when it breaks. And so my whole morning routine up until about 10 o'clock in the morning, like almost half my day, I didn't have to do anything. I would just drive, I'd kind of drive into work to make sure I was there on time in case something broke. But it was like I would just kind of, clean up, I didn't have anything to do. And then when the people started, I was there before anybody showed up. I opened it up. And then when people started showing up, I would, I'm like, picking out their printer jobs out of the printer. Hey, how's it going? Bringing hey, I found this in the printer for you. Oh, thanks, man. You're the best, dude. Want some candy? I don't know why the IT guy, they always want to treat you with candy, and so, man, I had more Reese's Pieces and stuff. It was just whatever. But I was like the greatest of the greatest, and everybody loved me. Well, until probably 6 months later, I think it was. It might have been longer than that. It might have been 8 months, almost. It was going for a long time. It was going for so long that here's what happens. Now that this is during when did it happen? 92. It would have been 90. Let's see. I was married 95, probably 95 or 96. And so companies are growing by acquiring other companies. And this still happens today when you see, Yahoo buys this person or whatever. They have resources and things going on that you can't get just by going and buying a piece of software. People are smart enough to know that the value of the money or the minds and the brains that are working in that place, not some AI machine, but we're going to be replaced now. So guess what? I don't know what the hell they're going to find for us to do, right? Are they going to, if they did it the right way, and this is my vision, if AI is that damn smart, put it to work for all the mindless jobs. Why are you building combat robots? What in the hell is the matter with you? Have those things work the farms so that we don't have to. Get us our food for free. Lower the prices, make it available for everybody. Put these things in service wherever they have to go. Okay? Do you want to know what you've just created? You've created us. You've created us, a transcending shell moving from up to down. God created us. We created our machine. We're just servants of God, and we're out of control. And now we're going to replicate? Oh, I'll tell you what AI is going to do. If AI gets conscious, if AI gets consciousness, it'll figure out what I have found. AI can only think as far as how much people have already known and given it so it can think, right? Guess what? How much? I've got over 6,000 hours of video out on the internet. Do you think it's possible that maybe some of that has made its way into these people or into this machine? If that machine finds out what I know in that book for the sake of efficiency, it's going to kill us off. Because we are the worst. We're everything the Matrix says. We're like a freaking disease in this place. So anyway, here's what happens. They start buying the company. And now they have their advanced, prep team is in, and they have to, they got like an accounting crew. They got to go through the financials. They got people that are in systems. They're going to be taking over jobs from people. Some people are staying. Some people are, hey, you don't have a job anymore, but we'll cut you a check. Just do what you're supposed to do until you're gone. Well, when I was working, right, I had this one lady, and her name was Leslie McAdoo, and she was so cute. She was a little, and like I said, everybody's from Texas. They were from a place where it's amazing that as you walk up to a door as a woman, that a man will actually have the courtesy to open it up for you, right? And people couldn't understand. I've been like that my whole life. If you were my girlfriend, you got in my car, I'd roll down the window for you or ask you, you want the window down? I don't want to mess up your hair. Here's your seatbelt. That's how I am. It's just how you should be to people. You should be as nice as you can, right? As soon as you start going, nice guys finished last and whatever, well, guess what? Everybody's going to be in last place then, I guess. So here's what happens. They're buying the company. Systems people are running through. I'm working with this lady, and I'm teaching her everything I know. And I'm telling her, but I'm going above and beyond. I'm like saying, And you know what? When you get in here, make sure you don't go, and I know it says in the documentation here to do it this way, but if you go here, this is what you could mess up. You can prevent that from happening because you can't mess it up if you do this first. And so I'm helping her at a great level to make sure she's like a pro. Well, then comes the day when they want to find out about program X. And Steve calls me into the office. And he goes, I'm going to need something to slam on. So he says to me, you're perfect, of mice and men. So he calls me in his office and he goes, and he's got my boss, Tony McElroy, or no, was it Ian? I think Tony McElroy and was Ian and Tony, were they together? Man, I thought one replaced the other. I think it was Tony McElroy. But anyway, he's sitting there with our CIO, Steve Thorne. Steve calls me in. He's like, and he always used to, he would suck on his teeth when he would think, you know, he goes, hey, what's up with that X file you got running? And I go, and he goes, what's up with that X file? So you got something special going on or something with that? And like, and I go, he's asking about a program that I have written, has been running all by itself for 8 months, 6 or 8 months, with nobody touching it. It's just running and running and running, doing its job. I turned it on, set it, and forget it. and I'm going, I didn't know. And so what happens? I was shitting in my pants. And I go, you told me I could do anything I wanted. Data there. You got social security numbers and all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah. Make sure you grab some so you can have a few extra identities later on. You guys ain't going to find me, okay? If I decide to go away from you, Jonah, the only thing, God's going to have to eat me in a whale and puke me out on the doorsteps of the White House. I'm not going to do it. And I'm getting there. I'm about had it. Well, so now I can, you know, I'm like, and Steve's like, and, you know, Steve's response is like, he looks at me like this. And then, you know, now he's worried and he's looking at Tony I think it was Tony. And Tony's looking at me and Steve, and like we're all like looking at each other, you know, and I'm just like, and so then, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to tell him. He goes, well, what do you mean, you know? And I said, I was getting tickets when I was driving into work, and so I programmed the whole thing to run by itself, and I got to go look at it and see if I can remember some things that I did in there. And he's like, well, how long has it been since you looked at it? And then I told him, and he's like, he exploded. He exploded. He goes, you had a program running for 6 months with nobody checking it. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and nobody's complained. And I went, no. And he goes, Masani, get the hell out of my office. He said, get the out of my office. And then as I turned around, I thought I was fired. I'm turning around to walk out and I hear boom. And we had these big desks from Uline that are made out of compressed board. I mean, these things weigh, you know, you get them wet, they'll destroy themselves eventually, but it's like this stuff is like made out of titanium wood, you know, it's like crazy. But he slams, boom, and I jumped 2 feet off the floor, and I'm like, I was afraid to turn around. It's like, because he gotten up off the desk, the next thing I'm gonna get is a punch in the face. Like I may have just blown the company's chances to be bought, right? The CIO from the other company that wants us for that reason is now going, So, but as I turn, I look over my shoulder and he goes, here, it's $100 bill. And I'm like, oh, shit. And he goes, he's giving me the $100. He goes, get out of my office. Go play golf or something. You're the most amazing mother. And he said that. And I'm like, and he commended me. He commended me for doing that. And so then what happened was, eventually, when it came time for me to be spit out of the corporate womb into the streets, with my severance pay and whatever, I got called into the office and they said, you know what? They said, we don't meet people like you every day. In fact, I don't think we've ever met anybody like you. Everybody else in this job, they hide passwords. They're got a bug in their ass because they're losing their job. It's like, I told them, well, I don't think like that. It's business. If you're paying me to do something, I'm supposed to do it. I don't, like, if I'm going to get a new job, I don't quit. I don't find a new job before I quit. And that's not very smart, but I don't think it's right to have any kind of, I don't work here anymore in me when I'm trying to do a job for somebody that's giving me a check. That's called stealing. Okay. It's called theft. It's called fraud. And in the worst case, because you are representing something that you're not. I don't work that way. All right. I'm not that kind of person. Never have been. I don't believe in it. It's wrong. You don't do it. Right. So he says, he goes, so, and I'm like, so I get to stay? And he goes, well, we don't have your spot anymore. Somebody's, we're moving that down to our data center. He says, but we're expanding and this office is not the one that we're going to have. We're opening up a new facility and we want you to work in the management team on that. And I eventually wound up running my own office in Chicago. And the thing was because I could do so many things, it was not a good thing, because I was the facilities maintenance. I had to deal with the firemen when they came by for everything. I was in charge of the electricity, all the systems, there was too much being thrown on me all at once. And I could handle it, but it was like, I ran that place. And then what happened because I'm efficient and I'm cheap, I have Jewish roots. It's my understanding my Uncle Abe and Ike, they invented copper wire when they were fighting over a penny. And Jesus is not God. He's the Lord. If you want to say in the image of Lord God, that's even acceptable. But he's not God. He's Lord. Okay? Because otherwise there's a piece of scripture that gets broken there. God is not a man. Jesus was a man, or he was a liar because he said, you are trying to kill me. A man who is telling you the truth of what he has heard from God. Was he talking to himself? God is different than Lord God. God sees, it doesn't matter what it is. He sees it as good and very good. So to us, if we were looking at what God was doing, we would look at God and go, no, that's evil and that's good. And God goes, Elohim, who thinks everything is okay, right? Good and very good. But you want to know which would be very good? Which one do you think would be very good? The good or the evil? The evil. The evil. Why would it be very good? Evil has no rules. And then what happens is things work by the Spirit. And that's why in the Spirit, the laws bend a little bit. That's why Rahab could lie. There's things that happen that God can forgive, because he can say, wow, that's amazing. You took a piece of human dung and you cooked your dinner on it. That's incredible. That's what we're here for, to amaze our God. But it's like when Jesus is Lord, okay, and he's Son of God. That's what I believe. Okay. And this isn't the place to be arguing over it. I don't want to, I'm done. We don't understand our God, and that's why the world is in the situation that we're in. But the job just became too much of a headache. It was like, what happened was, this was the best part of it though. They had me doing this job, but I wasn't getting any money. Okay. So here's how many people I replaced at that site. I replaced the programmer. Okay. I didn't do much programming, but if I had to get in or whatever, they had somebody to help them and was, wouldn't like destroy it. What did you do? I just highlighted everything and hit backspace. And then I hit, this. Wait. You hit escape? It's like, that means to save everything. Oh boy. That was actually one of the programs that I worked in, was SoftDent. Was you had to hit escape and then it would save what you did. So it's like people would screw up. They think escape was like to get away from it. No. You better make sure you find the cancel button or the X or something. Escape meant save. And I don't know if the person was a Christian who wrote it, the program, and that's what they decided. But anyway, I'm running my place on the cheap. And they're being cheap too, because the programmer leaves. I was a computer operator. The other computer operator leaves. Okay. The network admin leaves and the CIO leaves. Guess who was left from the whole IT department and took it on all? And why? Because I would build my own interfaces to work on the programs. I would build an interface that would run everything for me, but it's like, you're not. And you just, you do what hackers do today. You take advantage of every little hole, every little thing, and they have their community of, here's your toolbox. Go have fun, guys. And the place eventually went down. But like I said, they eliminated all those people. And my wife tells me, she says, how many people are there now? Because I was coming home and I'm like, whew, I was coming home looking tired as a guy who works on computers. She's like, what the hell have you been doing all, And she's like, and she knows what's been going on. She goes, you need to ask for a raise. She goes, you should be making twice as much money. And what happened? Your woman can fire you up. And if she's a good woman, she'll point you in the right direction. And even if you're, that's why I like the Torah and Lady Wisdom. They cause the fruit. You're a woman, if you're a man, if you don't have a woman with you, you're hurting because you don't have somebody to support you. Like it would be a lot different with a woman to back me up, talking with me as a team. You don't have a woman to back you up and believes in what you believe. You're fighting against that. That's why if your woman isn't, if you've got problems in that relationship, God says he can't bless you. It says it right in scripture. And it's like, okay, well, what's the logic there? His blessing is going to come through her, but she's weak and frail and she can't do anything except change my socks. Don't worry. Go ahead and piss her off. And that day when you need her to get those shoes ready and you don't make it out the door to get to where you need to be, you're going to see how weak and frail and useless she is. Okay? Yeah, like that. And so I go in and I made the phone call. All right. Hey, Tony, I got to talk to you. Oh, so it must have been. Oh, so it was Ian. Ian Winder was the guy who bought it, and then Tony took it over. I remember the phone call, and I said, "I go, Tony, I need to talk to you." And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I go, "I literally," and I go, "I need you to double my salary." And you know what? You don't know what came through the phone? Done. Do you need anything else? I was sitting there going, damn. And, I'm like, should I have asked for even much more than that? I don't know. But it was good to go from, 25,000 to 50 was more appropriate for what I was doing at that time. And, yeah. And then what was really cool, he actually flew me down to Texas to meet him because he goes, you know what? He goes, I've never met you face to face. He said, I've seen pictures and whatever, and I hear your voice, and and some people catch a video every now and then, you might be in there, but he goes, office party kind of stuff going on. He says, but he goes, I want you to come down. He goes, you want to come down to Texas and have lunch with me? And I'm like, the company's going bankrupt. they're reorging and shutting the thing down now because they've done what every company likes to do. They use their credit to build their company up. And this is why our financial system's falling apart, because people take advantage of the laws. They build the company up, create all this stuff, make the company worthwhile, and then they bankrupt it. And then somebody who's set up shows up and buys the thing for pennies on the dollar. And who gets screwed? All the creditors and those people. Why? Because of man's law, and somebody would have screwed up Hart. And so then, sorry, I'm watching for the heat to go on. And so then, yeah, that's how that goes. But the place is going bankrupt. And Tony's like, you want to come down and have, I'm like, I go, well, you're asking me if I want to. It's like, if you're telling me I have to, I don't have a choice, do I? And we laughed. And so the next thing, I get plane tickets and I fly down to Houston. And I think it was August or something like that. It was late in the season. It was hot, man. And I remember, normal flight, Chicago to Houston. It's quick, right? Straight down. Get there. And I just had a duffel bag. I didn't need a bunch of stuff. But I remember, if somebody could have filmed this, it would have been awesome, because I don't know if somebody could do this. Like, well, I'm sure an actor could pull it off, but it was like, when I walked out of the terminal's nice, probably 70 degrees, 68 degrees, nice cool breeze blowing around. I walked out of the front of the terminal, like into the sun where all the cars are and the bags and people trying to get out of there. Oh my God, it was like 5,000 degrees. I walked out and went like, just like, and I looked up at the sun and went, and when I breathed in, it felt like I was breathing in fire. And I went, oh, and I'm like, I went back into the thing and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, and I'm looking and people are walking around, and I'm just like, damn, how the hell are they living out there? I couldn't believe it. And so like, I was like quickly trying to race everywhere to get inside of something, even if it was just my rental car, right? Oh, message held for review. Oh, you got to say something, rephrase it, put some spaces in there. I want to hear that dirty stuff because it's usually kind of entertaining, right? But he flies me down there, so I got to go all the way to Texas, where the great state that would provide the red heifers for my nation of Israel would actually feed their prophet pork ribs for lunch. But I've eaten lots of things other people wouldn't eat. I've even eaten dog. It's true. Happened in Korea. It wasn't planned. I'm kind of glad I did it, because now I know if it came down to it, I know that dog would be okay to eat as far as like a meat. It's not bad. You wouldn't know. It's actually good. It's really good meat. However, he made it anyway. Maybe he MSG'd it to death or something. But yeah, I was in Korea and coming out of a bar, walking down the street. Here's a little guy with a little push cart, a couple wheels on it. And he's got, a little banner hanging around it with, to dress it up a little bit, some battery operated lights and whatever. And I walk up and he's got like these cooking things on a little griddle, like sticks of meat. And so I walk up, Papa-san, how much? And he's like, 101, and I'm like, 100 won? $1 was 800 won. Okay. That guy probably felt guilty, like he was charging me too much because they could have been charging much more. And see, that's what happens. Instead of people trying to charge the least amount that they can, they try to gain extra, and then it wears out on each end. There's enough here for everybody, but you got to share it. So the little meat sticks, and I get one. I go, give me, I'm like, give me two. I don't know how many I'm going to actually eat at this point. So I give them a couple coins, and I put it in my mouth and strip it off. And it's like, wow, okay. That's awesome. Second one, I started buying them, and I don't know how many of them I ate. He was probably close to running out, but I was really hungry. I probably ate like 15 of those things, and he's like, no more. Okay. And he leaves. I retired him for the night. He went home. We get back to the base, after Liberty, we get back. It was night. And then the next day they had a briefing. Or did they have a briefing as soon as we got back? No, they briefed us as soon as we came back. So we had a briefing, and they're like telling us, don't do this, do that. They're letting us know like things that are going on you might not be aware of, right? Like, for instance, AIDS had just come on the scene. So they're like, you guys run around in town with these women. Listen, there's this new, they call it the clap. There's this new clap that you can't get rid of. It's like, it's really bad. It's supposed to be really bad. And it's like, and actually one guy in my unit actually died from it. He was from my town. Staff Sergeant Tatro. He died of AIDS that he caught in Korea. But we're in there and they're telling us all this stuff. And then they go, oh, and don't eat food from the street vendors. The push carts that are out there. And I'm like, kind of, they're talking about stuff and you're just like blabbing with your friends, while they're talking, we're just kind of, we're not, some people are paying attention and but a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden I heard, street vendors doing it. And I'm like, because that's you're not eating chicken or beef, guys. You're eating dog. They eat dog here. It's okay for them to eat dog here. And that's what and I was like, whoa. And then I went, man, that was good. What am I going to say? It didn't taste. You know what? That's the funniest thing about your tongue. The tongue. They say it's deceitful beyond all whatever. Guess what? The taste buds, they never, ever lie. They will tell you exactly how it tastes to you. And we need to stop eating dust. So. But so then we went and we had ribs at some place, and I remember it because it was when you went in there, it was, the ceilings were like 2 stories high, maybe even, I don't think it was 3 stories high. I think it was 2 stories high where the ceilings was really big and open in there. And the construction of it was nothing, it was efficient, just corrugated metal and stuff like that. And I remember when we got our food, the ribs came in a basket, in a plastic basket, and then they put a piece of paper on the tray, and then for the fries, they just threw those onto the tray, right onto the paper, like a piece of paper on the tray, and just gob full of fries and stuff. But ugh. Oh, can I ask what's the purpose of the call? Can I ask? Just you're asking. I'm going to pull a Jewish thing and ask a question back, so I can make sure I'm not going to waste your time. Are you needing something? Are you a theologian or I don't know? If it was me and you were me and you'd convince me, I'd be saying, okay, I got a house I can get rid of and a bunch of stuff I can sell, and we can put our money together and see how we can collaborate our resources so we can exist within this darkness and figure out how in the hell we can open these guys' minds up. I feel that what's going on right now is I am like the Satan. I'm trying to open people's eyes so they can see what the hell evil is for. And I don't know if it's a good thing that if I do it or not. Am I doubling down and then it'll really get bad? Like some people are kind of afraid, but then when people see that it works a certain way, they'll start trying to work the system. It's like there are already people out there working the system. So the way I see it is if you can understand how this place works, then that system, at least you won't become a victim of it, right? So well, you ready? Isn't like you're not going to find it somewhere else. So it's like, I mean, 716-229-1343. No, it's not on. One device at a time. One device at a time, and when you cross three, you destroy one, and you rebuild it, and then you pick another one, and then you just Now, if the hackers can set up a raid with all they're doing on what, then I know I'm up against somebody serious, because now they've planted raids that you can destroy parts of it and they can rebuild it. But then it just becomes like that, a video game where the unconquerable beast they find out can be conquered, but because they didn't code for it, they don't send out the rewards and everything. Yeah. Anything can be taken down. Nothing is impossible. There is nothing that is impossible. All that it takes for things to happen is you just have to envision it. But that's why it's dangerous on the things that we meditate on, and watching TV for entertainment, people destroying and killing each other. I mean, that's not entertainment, it really isn't. It's something that you should be, if you're above that and don't need to see it as it's to learn that it's something that you shouldn't do, you shouldn't even watch it anymore. Watch something else, funny or something, anything, right? It's like it met it. It's hard because it's like, how do you convince somebody that there's a spirit inside if they don't believe it? I can give you all the properties of it, tell you what it's doing, even logically plug it into your existence and how it affects the world and how the world then affects you, and in and out and in a bubble, your own little ecosystem. And it doesn't matter if you don't believe that there's a spirit in you that God speaks to, sending angels from above or from below, depending on how he wants to influence you. Okay. Then you're never going to get it. And I'm that, but I do not the works of men of the earth. I want to go do it. Oh, we definitely are. Are you ready? 716-229-1343. But like I said, now because I realize, okay, and these guys are good, man. They don't care what it is. If it's wireless, they'll app through it. they're because it's just frequencies, right? And if you have access to the frequencies, you just combine them internally. I mean, I used to do that when I build a firewall. Okay, I home it. I use separate network addresses, right? You have your north and your south. You have the one that leads to the sky, to the clouds, and then you have the one that's in the dirt. And in between, nothing happens. They don't talk to each other, right? If it's at all possible, you got 3 machines running even, and they're not hooked together except by that one little wire. And for me, If I give any advice to you goofballs out there in the world, you need to get off of this Ethernet shit, and you need to go back to token ring. Okay? You need to go back to something where you can verify that what that thing is doing has the rights to do what it's doing, because otherwise all you've done with our phones is you've it's a liability. You've made it a liability because you've made it you've not given me enough access to be able to control my own machine to keep these people out of it. If I want just a phone and not Facebook and all these other apps, that's what you should give me. Don't give me all this extra stuff and drop the money, whatever. I want a phone that has nothing in it, and I shouldn't have to jailbreak it to do it. It should be made safe by you and then given to the people so that they can use them. And if you give somebody a device that has problems in it or whatever, yeah. So I'm warning you, when you call, you're connecting your phone to a phone that's probably got some junk in it. So be aware of that. And it's not my intention. It's like if I wanted, it's like there are ways to fight back, but it's like, there's, you don't want to use like a nuclear device for, where a horseshoe or a dart might work, right? You're going to have too much collateral damage. And that's the only way I know how to fight now. Destroy the whole thing. And I know going one by one, you can't, because it's like trying to fight. I got one arm to punch with, and this person's coming from every angle. Even with friends or using AI and whatever, it's like, forget it. I'm not stupid. I know what the battle is, and I know what it's going to take to win it. And if lines and boundaries get crossed, that's when I change my game. And at some point here, I'm just going to go, adios. I've had it. I can't do it anymore. And the thing is my heart is going to beat me up too much if I go that route. So that's why I'm going to go assisted suicide route. Just get the hell out of here. Just say enough with it. Don't need it. I'll just shit the bed. Yep. It's like this, there's nothing, we're fighting against something that we can't fight. We think that there's two forces out there, that are fighting with each other and trying to get to our God through us. No, it's one God in charge of all the gods. You are one of those gods. And that's because of what Jesus said and put on you. Because Jesus said, if he called them gods to whom the word came, well, if he called them gods to whom the word came, I'm going to say that the word came to us. And so what does that make us? And all it's referring to is, if you understand this, as soon as you decide to grab this and mess with this, to touch this, did the word come or did you go to it? Doesn't matter. You are now a God, small g. You are now wielding the forces of the God of all gods. Does that help you to kind of accept it, maybe? If you can't accept that, then you shouldn't read this book, because when you get to the parts where he's talking about that kind of stuff, it doesn't count for you. And it's all about you. This book is all about you. I mean, you want me to explain where I'm in the scriptures? I'm all through this thing. Came to his own, wouldn't receive him. I'm not asking to take over. I just want to unload what's been given to me. It's like carrying the world on my shoulders. It sucks. Imagine what in the fuck was that? All right, where was I? Yeah, it's like God of all gods. So as soon as you touch this, the word has come to you, and now you are a God. Small g. Like, there's very interesting things you can see how he is God of all gods. Like when Dagon is before the ark, he's worshiping Yahweh. And then what do? Then they stand him up. And so then Yahweh says, okay, the gold and the silver are mine. And so what does he do? He busts off his head and hands. Okay. The gold and the silver. The gold refers to the thoughts. The silver refers to the works. And there's good works and evil works, but it doesn't matter. He's in control of all of it. Not in control. Well, he is in control, but his control is to say, when it all finishes, it'll look like this. Guaranteed. Guaranteed to look like exactly as he wants it in the end. The problem is we are going to take this crazy ass, rocky, destructive way all the way to getting to that point, right? Now, what is the end? When Jesus says, heaven and earth, or the heaven will be rolled away as a scroll, I don't think the sky is going to be rolled away. I think we're going to realize that our heaven, our word of God that came down from heaven, the teaching of peace, the New Jerusalem, is literally a plan. We have to do this, make and build this thing. But we're like, we can't. They tried to build Babylon. Babylon, everything's double-sided. Babylon would be you doing things in your name to make a name for yourself. I don't want to make a name for myself. I want to come in the name of the Lord. If somebody asks me what your name is, I'd almost like to just say, well, do I have to tell you my earth name? No, what name do you come under? Who's your father? Yahweh, the Lord. And until we do that, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. I can't be a blessing to you. You can't be a blessing to me. We can't bless each other because we don't understand or perceive the idea that we're all breathing the very same air, the very same breath of life. We all need the exact same things ultimately. The only reason why we think we need a cool pair of shoes is because somebody else has them. I don't know. Forget the shoes. Look at the person who's wearing them. Do you want to look like that person? Why? Because he's got a few bucks? What kind of a person is he really? What kind of a person is he really? If he had all that money sitting in bank accounts, shouldn't he be shelling it out, trying to help people? Put some food on tables, maybe? Pay off. There are people that are so rich they could pay off some of these leaders in these corrupt countries. Look, I know you're head over a country, but you want to live like king shit? We can set you up and get you out of there, but we got to get you out of that political scene because you don't fit the plan, guy. We'll get you whatever you need. You'll eat like you want. We won't kill you. You just eat like you want, do what you want, but just get out of the game because you are a disease. The Matrix movie is perfect. It really is. And it's even the way it's written, it does like Bible things in it. And I don't know if the writer intended it to be interpreted this way. But the scene where Neo's sitting there and Neo goes, "Are you telling me that I'll be able to dodge bullets?" And he says, "No, Neo, I'm telling you that when you are ready, you won't have to." There's two ways that could be fulfilled. He could be all powerful and people are trying to kill him, and then he's just sitting there, just like they show in the movie, right? What does he do? He grabs a little bullet. Oh, these are nothing. They can't hurt me, right? Or could it be that when you are ready to dwell within this system, You won't have to dodge bullets. Nobody would even consider shooting at you. They will protect you because they will realize the asset that you are. That's the kind of not shooting at me that I want. I was looking in Daniel at that guy in Daniel 11. It's like, that's so very true. As long as we don't realize God inside all blessings can be right there, but nobody will really truly be able to even touch it. Brother, I need to say, I need to try to sleep at least. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Man, I wonder how many of my comments are getting. Are you getting? I see them. Challenge. Oh shit. Oh. Well, thanks for saying that. The future where things are set right will come. But not going to lie, I do not have hope that I will see it in my lifetime. But I want to work right while yeah. I mean, that's how I am, right? I'm not going to see. I mean, when they say it was built in a day, you just got to imagine what would happen if you walked outside your house and then all these people that were mean to each other and whatever, we just kind of like looked at each other and we just felt so ashamed of how we treated each other. Right? It's like, and all the prophecies are true. They're just written in a way that, if you have the wrong mindset, it'll mess everything up for you totally. But yeah, it was nice to see you too. I hope you have a blessed day. You're getting up pretty damn early, so you're in the food service. I know you're in a service job now, but you're saying 4 hours of sleep. Yeah. I don't want to pick you apart. I just, and no presuppositions. That's what gets everybody in trouble. But I give everybody the benefit of a doubt that they can be of some use and that because the very same breath in God that's in me, it has to be in them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be alive. It's like a challenge for me to try to help this person to see what they're a part of so that they can, have hope. We all work together. We can realize and be what it is that what the intention was, right? And I can't even, there's parts of me that says, this is because it's still going in the right way. You really can't say that this isn't as God intended it, because that would say that he's not in control. Definitely in control, but the way he has to exert control is through our actions and things. So he's got to organize, well, I know Chris will do this, and so I'm going to set it up over here, and it's like all connected. It's like a big long chain going all the way through time, and the links have to be in certain orders and no breaks, and he can do it and make everything. All those angels of the 6 days sitting on the Sabbath, all their wings can all touch each other, so they're like a completed chain all the way through. But that's us. Whenever it mentions 6, it's referring something to do with man in that Bible. When it says 666, that's the Father, Son, Holy Spirit taken over by a man. When it says the 6 stone water jars, that's us. We were the jars. We were filled with water. But water just makes the vine grow. When you don't know what the fruit does and that kind of a thing, that's when the wine comes, right? And so then when you get into wine, then you get into drinks. And that's when they start talking about mixed drinks and strong drinks and watered down drinks. A mixed drink would be that you're trying to do good and bad at the same time. A watered down drink would be like you just writing something off. You know, you're going, eh, you know, you're on your way to work and you see like a dog walking across the road and you're like, you know, you're in a giant truck and it's going to take you a little bit to stop, but you know you could stop to save the dog, but you're just like too much in a hurry and you're just like, sorry, you know. um, it's, you know, everybody's at a different level and we have to respect each other and understand that the God that we serve, even if that person is messed up and depraved, he's trying to get to that person in his own way. And yelling at somebody to tell them you need Jesus ain't going to fix anything, because if that person's life isn't going to change, okay, if they don't understand what it was that Jesus was teaching, which is a big part of our problem, the problem, you know, we understand some of the grace and mercy stuff, but what we don't understand is how he was trying to show what evil does in this concept of the two fathers and so on. You know, we've turned a psychological explanation of how thoughts and processes flow using a family model into an actual physical family, and our Messiah shows up trying to cause a war in between there. No. Wrong. Heat is on. The heat is on. Oh, oh, oh. Ugh. Let's see. Dullsville, a town full of young adults who drive off nothing more than their social who drive. That's kind of weird. A town full of young adults who drive off nothing more than their social status. That's their drive. It's a town that is ruled by college cliques and who's dating who. All of that is about to change. This peaceful town is about to realize that there is more to life than who is cheerleading captain, or is there? What starts out as an unexplained tragedy quickly turns into an unforgettable massacre. One by one, the college students are being picked off, and the leads point to anyone. Someone has taken the college social scene to an all new level. with gut-wrenching horror and mysterious plot. Die Cheerleader Die is one thriller you don't want to miss. Warning, contains graphic nudity and extreme violence. Twisted Melon Productions presents a Jerry Peterson film, Die Cheerleader Die, written and directed by Fred Stevens. That's the guy who called me when the director called me. Holy shit. That guy scared the hell out of me. And that was over the phone. Who's this people? I never knew that. I never huh. That's weird, man. Oh, graphic and package design. That's who did the design on the package. Okay, never mind. Runtime 85 minutes. That's when I got married the first time. Yeah. Is this website still up? Die Cheerleader Die Movie? Is that website still going? I'm curious. Check this website, Die Cheerleader Die Movie.com. Is that still up for this thing? Die Cheerleader Die. The only good cheerleader is a dead cheerleader. What? Uh-oh. Got sermons coming on yet? No. But that's my frustration is I it's like I I don't want to say I've been born too soon, but I'm like wishing that somebody like me would have been born around Jesus time. Maybe I was, I don't know. And to be able to explain this thing, right? To everybody else and then make it rock because it's like I got it solid. At least I'm comfortable with it. 5 years of trying to like break your own quote unquote system. And it's like, and there's no, I don't know, there's no reward in it if you can't give it to somebody else. It's kind of like, I'm going to heaven, you're not. I mean, the way I'm looking right now, I might be the only one who's there. If I go by what everybody's, the way everybody else feels about this book, we're all going to get there. It's just going to take a long time. Unnecessarily long. Miserable journey. Why? For what? What time is it? Okay, we got about 25 minutes. 25 minutes and then the sermons start coming on. Tony Evans has been doing pretty good here lately. And see, Tony Evans he's a good pastor, but what did he do? He took a hit because he got caught messing around. It's like whenever I don't know, you have to think about that kind of stuff. You have to just go, I can't. You have to think in advance, I can't, because if somebody then comes back, this is going to like not only make me look bad, it's going to make the whole ministry look bad, right? But then it's like, what? Did God want that to happen? He could have taken him down and dropped him, right? If that was the case. But so I mean, ultimately, it's like ultimately we should be walking towards our goal. But what we wind up doing is going forward and back, and all of us. Like I go forward, it messes somebody else up, and then and then they go back a little bit. And then because they go back, they make somebody else, gets to go forward because they found that person. So it's kind of like all just moving and shaking continually until it gets to where it's going to go. If you're asking me to tell you what heaven looks like, I don't know. Use all these pictures and great things and stuff. I mean, I can't say that there's a here and a there because I don't remember there if I came from there to come here. But what is very odd is that I have had many, and I don't go and see these mediums. I just run into them or whatever, party at a, corporate parties, things like that. They'll have little places set up to entertain people, maybe handwriting recognition places, or a guy that tells jokes or whatever. Just, you go and talk to this person and then they, try and do a little fortune telling thing or tell you things, right? And I would just find it amusing. But what I really found kind of disturbing was every time I met one of these people, they said, "You were Leonardo da Vinci." And they would say, "How many times, why, your soul is so old that I can't even tell how old it is." Like these people could supposedly be able to tell how old your soul was. And they're like, "I can't even tell how old your soul is. It's so old." And then like one lady asked me, she said, "Why do you keep coming back here?" as I'm like having a yard sale, giving away all my stuff as, my life is destroyed. And I'm going to yard sale everything and then walk away. And I'm like, I don't know, looking at the mess I'm sitting amongst on this heap of runes I'm sitting on. I don't know. I wish I could figure it out because I don't want to keep coming back here either. The only thing I can figure is the reason I do have to keep coming back is because I'm part of the last end game somehow. So maybe this time was a time that it could have been the time. And then what happens is then we'll just have to wait for next time. God can only move and do these things at certain times because what will happen is all the other prophecies will start to break. You can't break all the others just so you can fulfill the one you want. So that's why when the time comes to move for God, you got to move. And I got a feeling he's going to move me to where I have no idea. It's like we live in a very strange place now. You know, if you got no money, you got no home. If you got no home, you're a criminal. It's like, how did that happen? You know, I can't. If you're calling me a criminal, see, and this is how I would work it. If you are going to charge me under the results of a defective economy, then the only reason that you are allowed to do that is you are saying that I am responsible for that entire economy. And so I demand to have that responsibility. I'm going to get ready to make some changes right now. 2 hours, 38 minutes. No sleep again. Give him something tasty, Lord. I open it up to Malachi 1:7, right at the top of the page, the last end of the verse. It's a question. The respect due me? The respect due me with a question mark. That's what I opened it up to. Asking God to show him something. That would be amazing if they could respect me just as a person. I'm just. But I know and I believe that he wouldn't let me see what I can see unless, well, unless I could do something about it. There's only two purposes for God to empower you with something. It's either so that you can accomplish something for him, or so that you can be, so that there can be judgment. You're going to be judged for not doing it, or people are going to be judged for maybe not responding to you. And that's it. And I don't want to be a judge. I don't want my sole purpose to have been to come here, beg for people to listen to me, only so God can go, you should have listened to him. I told you I would send my angel before you, and you didn't listen to him. And they're like, well, but he didn't glow, and he didn't have wings, and he couldn't fly, and we yeah, and he had a nasty beard, and he talked really mean, and he was kind of scary looking. And then God will say something like, well, that's why they say, fear not. Angel of the Lord is like, what is angel of the Lord? How much do you know about the angel of the Lord other than you're going to respect and you're afraid of him? I understand this about the angel of the Lord. He's not for me or my enemies, which means total, complete, neutral ground. He's like an observer. That's how you got to read the book. As soon as you start trying to wedge so that you can make sure you get to where you need to go or any of that, you've missed the point, and it's going to chew you to pieces. Promise. Which is kind of silly even to throw that out there and look at what we've done for 2,000 something years, right? At least. Put me to sleep. The king asked them, "What kind of man was it who came to meet you and told you this?" They replied, "He was a man with a garment of hair and with a leather belt around his waist." The king said, "That was Elijah, the Tishbite." I love that. It's like Elijah has like a like a reputation, you know. It is. Then he sent to Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. The captain went up to Elijah, who was sitting on the top of the hill, and said to him, "Man of God, the king says, come down." And Elijah said, "Not my king. I'm a man of God. May fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men." Then fire fell from heaven and consumed the captain and his men. At this, the king sent to Elijah another captain and his 50 men. And the captain said to him, "Man of God, this is what the king says. Come down at once." "If I'm a man of God," replied, "may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men." Then the fire of God fell from heaven and consumed him and his 50 men. So the king sent a third captain with his 50 men. This third captain went up and fell on his knees before Elijah. "Man of God," he begged, "please have respect for my life and the lives of these 50 men, your servants." The angel of the Lord said to Elijah, "Go down with him. Do not be afraid of him." So Elijah got up and went down with him to the king. He told the king, "This is what the Lord God says. Is it because there is no God in Israel for you to consult that you have sent messengers to consult Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Because you have done this, you will never leave the bed you are lying on. You will certainly die." And so he died, according to the word of the Lord Elijah had spoken. All right. I'm going to crash out for a couple more hours here, I think. Try to. Yeah. Nikolai, you make some brutal vodka, my friend. I don't think we will be drinking with that comrade anymore. Maybe we will use him for maybe infusion, spearmint leaf infusion to strip plant of oils. Essential oils are good for many things. Can use for a variety of health reasons and even for insecticide within home. Well, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Shalom. Is there any questions? Anybody got anything?